How did an 18-year-old North Korean math prodigy use an international competition to stage a daring escape to South Korea? In July 2016, the 57th International Mathematical Olympiad was held in Hong Kong. 18-year-old Jang Yal-ri competed as a national representative for North Korea, knowing this was his final shot at freedom. Having represented his country in 2014 and 2015, these trips had already opened his eyes to the world beyond North Korea. Back home, he had managed to pick up faint South Korean TV signals, making him realize the staggering reality between the two nations. Interactions with South Korean contestants during the Hong Kong event only solidified his life-changing decision. For Jang Yal-ri, the 2016 competition was his absolute last chance to leave North Korea behind. On July 16, 2016, after winning a silver medal, he faced a choice more dangerous than any math problem: the run for his life. Upon arriving in Hong Kong, North Korean coaches had confiscated the passports of every team member. On the night of the closing banquet, the Minders finally lowered their guard just a little. They were confident their star student would be on the 2 p.m. return flight the next day without any trouble. But Jang chose the early morning hours, when the guards were most exhausted, to make his move. After the banquet, Jang lay on his hotel bed, mentally rehearsing every single step of his escape plan. He tucked his medal and certificate into his bag as proof of his identity. At 2 a.m., he slipped out of bed and eased the door open. The hallway was empty, with no security in sight. Holding his breath, he crept down the corridor, one silent step at a time. Once he cleared the hotel, he immediately hailed a taxi and headed straight for the airport. At that moment, his heart was a blur of pure terror and adrenaline-fueled excitement. Reaching the airport, Jang spotted the Korean Air check-in counter and strode forward without looking back. Summoning every ounce of courage, he spoke in Korean. "I am North Korean, and I need to get to the south." The staff member's eyes widened as she quickly summoned the manager, to whom Jang explained his entire situation. Without hesitation, the manager called the South Korean consulate in Hong Kong. This move was politically explosive, as a defection on Chinese soil could easily spark an international crisis. Under the guidance of the consulate, the manager gave Jang the address to the South Korean diplomatic mission. Jang arrived at the consulate building and successfully made contact with South Korean diplomats. The consulate staff were stunned. They could hardly believe an elite student had actually pulled off such a defection. While the consulate provided temporary safety, it wasn't a teleportation device. He was still technically on Chinese territory. North Korea began ramping up pressure on China to have Jang forcibly repatriated. For the next 2 months, Jang lived in a small, cramped room inside the consulate walls. Following intense negotiations between Seoul and Beijing, and a dip in China-North Korea relations due to nuclear tests, a deal was struck. China finally granted him passage, and Jang Yal-ri touched down in Seoul with a brand new passport and a future of freedom.